What is up, guys? This is your host, Daniel from Tiny Studio Production. Today I got two of my homeboys, CD Rivers in the back, DVS, David Salinas in the booth. And today's topic, we're going to talk about TekTok. So, for the first subject,
You should definitely explain that because the way you said that.
yeah, let me elaborate. So, we're just going to talk about different categories of technology in general. Gonna bring up a topic and then we'll just take it from there. So for the first one, in y'all's opinion, what's the best streaming service out there?
For what?
Streaming.
Hulu, Netflix, Amazon,
Well, you could say
Stars,
streaming, yeah. Like
HBO.
So generally, we could talk music, movies.
video. I guess video.
All right.
We can start with the video.
Shit,
If you want it free, Voodoo.
good call. I don't know. Educational videos, man. There's like a bunch of other services, but entertainment. I mean, Netflix.
Netflix, cool.
Yeah, and plus Netflix, has the money to develop a lot more of their own content now.
I think the ones that have to offer a lot more are Netflix and Stars. I recently got Stars maybe like 3 months ago, and my mom's just been on that shit all day. What about you, David? What do you
I'm
like?
surprised you guys didn't say Disney Plus.
You have that one?
Yeah,
How is it?
I don't know. I don't use it.
Okay, this is a big one here. iPhone versus Android.
Android.
I'm an Android user. Why do you use Android yourself, David? Like,
Because I had an iPhone and I felt very restricted. Like, I mean,
yeah.
it was easy and simple, but it's like for...
I like.
Yeah, I don't want to offend anybody. But
I guess-
Dude, go ahead and offend. Like,
Oh, no,
Yeah, bro, it's all good. Fuck it.
you can just like get yelled at in the comments. You get a
No,
lot of
that's
free
fine.
time anyway, and your phone won't freeze up because it's an Android.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know about that because I don't have an iPhone.
So I could say like I'm an Android person as well. Because like you say, there's no restrictions. You can install just so much shit on there. One thing I do like about the iPhone though is it's got GarageBand where you can record, use it as a DAW.
Yeah.
And there's been certain like attempts with the iPhone, with the Android, where they've made different DAWs, but since there's so many different models of phones, nothing has been perfected as compared to the iPhone. You know, they only have the iPhone, so it's perfected, you know.
Yeah. The iPhone, from an aesthetic point of view, is like beautifully designed. But for anybody familiar with Japanese minimalism, it's just like you look at the iPhone and they've knocked off a lot of other products, but they've got like futurism and minimalism down really well. Androids, for the most part, for most manufacturers, are still kind of clunky and following in suit, like trying to get to a stage of minimalism that Apple is already at. But again, I'm in the same boat with you guys. I don't like it because it's very restricting. If you wanted to run homebrew or something like that, it's a lot more complicated to do it on an iPhone, and plus it voids its warranty.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
you'd have to hack it.
And all those parts are soldered in now, so you can't just do quick, easy upgrades, like installing additional storage memory.
Okay, guys, so this is probably more on David. Raspberry Pi, what's your opinion on that?
Cool. That's it. No, I barely got into it like when half a year ago, and it's a nice little mini PC that you can use for emulation. don't know
I
if we
like
can
it
talk
because you
about
could
that.
do so much on it. Like, recently, and I know CD Lou, you had mentioned this DAW was Reaper.
Yeah.
Well, they did make a version for the Raspberry Pi, and my big goal on that was all these guitarists, pianists go out there and they buy pedals so they can perform live. My thing was like, man, imagine installing an OS on this little thing that's the size of a beeper, where it can offer multiple effects for those instruments. And right now, the only one that offers that is Reaper, but you can't install third-party plugins because it's for 32 and 64-bit processors, and the processors that are used on the Raspberry Pi are ARM 7, ARM 8, which is phone processors.
Yep.
And because of that, you can't install 32 or 64-bit plugins on there, like VST plugins.
Yeah.
I'm just hoping like once they do that, then it's gonna be fun. But that Raspberry Pi is amazing. You can install emulators.
Sure. I think what you're talking about is kind of the convenience, the high performance that you get from the ARM system or that architecture, and that's actually what the new was it the M1 chip is kind of directed towards with Apple. But when I guess we're still waiting to see those benchmarks, but there's some convenience to it. It's very power efficient.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about Daws. Which one is your like the best one in your opinion?
Ooh.
He likes porcelain dolls.
Yes.
No, Daws, DAW.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
What does that stand for people that aren't familiar with that, Dan?
yeah.
Shit, you got me there.
Oh yeah.
You can say it.
Digital audio workstation. I'm taking this podcast down.
I don't know everything. I'm
What-
sorry,
which,
guys.
No. Which DAW are you using right now, Dan?
Ableton Live, and I'm loyal to that. Honestly, I do like Logic. If I had a Mac, I would use it. I just love the sounds that it comes with already. It sounds very analog.
Have you ever worked on analog?
Well, yeah, I got my acoustics. I have the P170 AKG mic.
Sure.
Um,
Reason I'm saying that is because I've worked with actual analog recording gear,
uh-huh.
like mixing desks, and it's one thing to say that. Most of the time, it's just noise that's getting added to it, to the signal chain.
Yeah.
But for those that have the more sophisticated hearing, you can hear the harmonics that come from the transformers and other pieces of equipment in that signal path. But when it comes towards DAWs, I like why you got into Ableton, and it's the reason why I like it, at least in the sense you can perform with it, and it allows you to, improvise, almost like it's its own instrument.
Yeah, there's so much control on it. I guess before I was using a Fostic 8-track, old school. It had a little compact flash on the side.
Yeah.
It had 8 tracks, and then you could bounce it and keep doing it. But the downfall is, you don't have as much control. So I'm like, I gotta get into the software shit. So I'm just like doing research. Saw FL Studio, Pro Tools,
Yeah.
and then I'm online and I'm just looking at like all these videos, and I'm like, why is there so many instruments specifically for Ableton? So that's what caught my attention. I'm like, there's a shitload of instruments, and I guess they made them for like live performances. You know what I mean? As you're saying, like it's its own instrument, and because of that, they can create different types of MIDI instrument controllers for it.
Yeah.
It's the Launchpad Pro, the AKG. I can't remember the one. I have it here, but it's a controller.
Do you have a push?
No, bro, that's one of the ones I want to get, man. Those
Yeah.
look amazing.
I mean, the thing about that stuff is like it's all just a controller, so you can do it with anything that comes your way. You know, like as for a MIDI controller, but yeah, that's Ableton's really great for usage, almost like its own instrument. As for DAW, like I prefer to use Reaper. In most of the cases, I have to use Pro Tools, just because it's an industry standard by professionals that I work with.
And I know I have other producer friends that they're like, get into Waves, get into Fat Filter Pro, I believe.
Yeah, those are VST or plug-in menu.
But my thing is like, I want to master DAW. Like I want to learn all of Ableton and what it has to offer before I get into the third-party plugins for mix and mastering. That way, whenever I'm doing it, I can have a combination or an option of, if I don't like the third party, I can go back to, the
Yeah.
origin of the mix and mastering for Ableton. Because I'm still learning it. There's just so much on there. I'm learning the Max for Life. There's just so many effects on there, bro.
Yeah.
But I don't want to get too stuck on this subject. Let's try another one.
Yeah, because I was falling asleep.
Well, I don't know. Maybe you'll fall asleep on this one too. Nikon versus Canon versus Sony versus Panasonic
Look at him,
cameras.
he's dead.
You go to sleep for a little while, David.
Yeah, we'll wake you up.
I'll
when
go
it's time.
breastfeed you right now.
Yeah.
I feel like, honestly, David should start this off because you've been recently brought into the fold of videography and
How do you like your Nikon, David?
photos.
Ooh, that's what I was going to say. I mean, I really can't tell you which is the best one because all I've had is Nikon.
No, it's not about being best. It's like, I think you had a Canon for a moment, right?
No. Wrong, David.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking about Leonardo's David.
Well, I'll say, like, from what I heard of,
I can
from
imagine.
what I've seen from Experience City, you could correct me. I like Nikon. I like the fact that when you take pictures, they're very, they're unsaturated, which gives you more control of the color that you're gonna add to it with whether it's Adobe Premiere, Adobe Photoshop.
Yeah.
I like that Canon has that it's very friendly on the go. You could take a picture. The contrast presets on it, they're pretty legit. Panasonic, I heard one of my cousins uses it, and the lens, they're a lot cheaper. The cameras are a lot cheaper. They shoot great in 4K. The only downfall is that you need a lot of lighting because it's not,
Good
I
low
guess,
light.
the aperture. And then the one that tears shit up is Sony, but it's very expensive.
Yeah, I've had the opportunity to use all those cameras except for the Panasonic. Some very personal experience with that is for photography. Nikon, I feel records RGB channel, like that's the way the information's recorded in grayscale, but it's for each particular channel of red, green, and blue. When you look at it, the color sciences between all those three different manufacturers, really that's the only quality difference that I see. And then you have things like autofocus. In some situations, Canon kills it with the dual pixel phase autofocus, and then the eye tracking focus in Sony. Nikon still doesn't have their autofocus 100%, but the way it records color, again, why I think there's a good reason to talk about this or have a different opinion about them, is Nikon records really well each individual RGB channel very well, and it looks like real life to me. And when you take a photo with Canon, the red channel is disturbingly it's blown out. So skin tones always look majestic and beautiful, but it's not really authentic in my opinion. And then you look at Sony, and it does a similar thing, but it's a lot grainier. And that, for me, if you're a photographer, you want something that's the most authentic to what you're there trying to experience or capture. And that's what's really great about Nikon. Canon and Sony do a really great job of capturing photos, but their color science kind of augments reality, in my opinion.
All right, David, we'll wake you up on this one. SNES versus Sega. Let's take it back.
Ooh, I always pick Nintendo.
What about you, City?
Yeah, man. Mega Man X, Super NES, and all that.
In your opinion, what made more of an impact, when the SNES came out, or when the N64 came out? Like, which one were you like, wow, like you were more wowed about?
I think the NES, man.
You think it was the NES?
Yeah.
The SNES.
Oh, excuse me. Yeah, SNES, Super Nintendo. I mean, 64 was obviously better graphic-wise, but for virtual reality and for my imagination, I looked at those graphics and I was like, eh.
You weren't impressed about it, right?
Not really, man. It's
Well,
like,
I mean, back in the day, that was like the most.
sure.
top of the line shit.
Of course, for like what we had access to, but if you had an imagination that could see past or further than that, it's like you're looking at polygons and it's like whatever. I had a Virtual Boy as well, so I had that. Not many people. Do you guys remember that by any chance?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so that had vectors, and the only color you had was red. And the 64, I mean, I loved it for what it was, but it
was all polygons.
yeah, and so that was the style graphically. And now we're up to 3D, where you have the ability to have different animation styles or visual styles.
We have VR now.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's crazy.
Even at that, the VR looks a little cheesy sometimes.
It's crazy though how like it was a big difference though from like SNES to 64, and now that all these new consoles are coming out, like I guess the modern gamers, the kids, are the ones that are noticing the difference. But for us, I feel like it's already like, you know what I mean? It's not anything different. But to me, like, it was the N64 that made more of an impact, I guess, because of the whole 3D. You know, and I know how PlayStation came out, but David, what do you think? Like, Sony wasn't as impactful compared to when the N64 came out, which Sony had it was already out for like 2 years, 94, you said.
Yeah.
What do you think? What was that reason?
Because nobody really knew what the PlayStation was. Because originally, it was supposed to be with the Super Nintendo. It was, I think, Philips or Panasonic.
Yeah.
I think it was Philips, right? And they were going to make a CD-ROM, and it was going to be the PlayStation. But Nintendo shut them down and said, no, we don't need you. So
they didn't. They wanted to continue with cartridges.
Yep.
Why do you think that Dreamcast died?
PlayStation 2.
It was
PlayStation
sad,
2
man, because
killed
it was a good console, bro. I remember Virtual Cop.
Remember House of the Dead 2?
Yeah.
So I got this one's for you, CD. You want me to put this one on here? Important technology for the future. What did you have in mind?
I was actually curious because what you guys thought was important based off of the careers that you guys are in. Like for me, working in music, you know, the technology is getting cheaper, so people that are at home can make better recordings. Are they making better recordings? Some of them are, but not really. It's
I think
I was more curious to know like what you guys had in mind.
what I think important technologies that I think, and it is getting better, is interacting through webcam, and you know, there's a lot of people working from home already, so it's very convenient. You know, like there's also stuff for like medical. In the medical, they're you know, working virtually, and I think that speeds up a lot of the process. I think it's there's less accidents. You know, that's my opinion.
Really? Everybody's always on their phone. That causes more.
No, but I mean, like, you don't have to drive to work anymore. Now you're just at home.
Oh,
less
Zoom.
risks. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, that obviously brings up other risks, such as health, your consumption
That's true.
at home, you know? Like, I know if we're all living probably more sedentary lifestyles because we can't go anywhere.
All right, so let's talk about the internet, man. We started with dial-up. You got mail. Remember AOL?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but with internet now, everybody wants to be a fucking celebrity.
Yeah,
Back then, it used to be like a prestigious thing to be an actor or something. Now you have little kids on TekTok making millions because they're selling toys and shit.
Yeah.
That Ryan Toys, man, that kid leaves me broke.
See?
But that's smart. Smart marketing, man.
Man, it depends on how you view things. I love the internet because of the access to information. I mean, you could argue technology as well, but it reflects on society what's more important to people, and it seems that celebrityism, the act of being famous, you know, doing the TikTok challenge, or having a shitload of followers on Instagram, is like
It's more important.
More important from a from a point of view of like a business point of view, I know how we can turn those numbers, those follower numbers, into, money, like having a career by advertising product and even maybe using it for change in some way. But yeah, David's got a good point, man. Especially like you guys have kids. I mean, how does that affect them? You're like, for most of us that are older, you're not as vapid trying to dwell on those things. But for younger people, it's like, well, I've got no followers.
Yeah, I mean, especially we're like '90s kids, so we do notice like the life change of from back then till now.
Yeah.
There's times where like I'll take a break for a month from like social media, the internet, and I feel rested. Like I feel like I interact more, like with the family, with friends, and I get back on it. And I mean, I use it a lot for, like networking purposes, but it does change your point of view, for a while. Like you're focused on other stuff. I feel like I get more shit done when I'm off it.
Yeah.
It seems really exhausting. Like there's Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, Facebook. It's like, oh, let me post here and here and here. And it's like,
well, you David, that's why you've never really been into it, right?
that's why I'm not on it. I'm like, fuck,
Yeah.
I get on Facebook.
We miss you, David.
Oh, I'm right here. I'm right here.
Come here, chiquito.
I think it's also funny because of this particular podcast as well. It's in its infancy. I mean, one might even put it in a position as like, why the fuck are you doing this, Danny?
Yeah.
Like, what's your relevance?
I want attention.
Yeah, of course you do. You could just be like everybody else.
It's gonna
start
flash.
OnlyFans,
I'm gonna
man.
flash everybody around.
Start at OnlyFans. But I think really the conversation that's been picking up is collectively getting people that are actively creative or have some sort of voice getting together within the South Texas community to talk. And that's, I mean, why we're here, but of course I'm going to make fun of you for being an attention whore. If people want his OnlyFans, reach me at my Instagram and I'll get you Danny's OnlyFans account.
I accept Lone Star.
Dirty Dan OnlyFans.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about Napster, Limewire, Kazaa, Torrents.
Man, now we're going back into the time machine, right?
We're going back
To the
and forth.
dial-up days.
Yeah. What's a Napster?
Remember Napster? Remember when the guy from Metallica sued Napster?
Oh yeah.
Shit was crazy, bro.
And a lot of people were pissed off at him, but for me, I mean, even though I was using it at the time, like, and finding out what that was, like in the long run, you are stealing when you think about that. Like, and you look as yourself as an artist now that you're an adult. And I have this conversation with several young producers that flip beats. They fucking ripping other artists off. It's like, no, but I flipped it. And it's like, no, you didn't, dude. You fucking... Anyway.
Flipped them off.
So, like, Napster, it's like, when Lars sued them, people were, like, really against Metallica, but for me, I was in favor of Lars defending his intellectual property. It's like, dude, I took the time those are my feelings. I spent all that money on the recording studio, spent money marketing and all that, and you're just gonna come in here and give it away for free. It's not yours to give.
Yeah, I understand that.
And people don't understand that until they get into the creative world, and then you're trying to do that for a living. Man, that's the worst thing. Like, if I took your beats and stole them from you, just hacked your computer, stole them, and started just selling those on my website for cheaper price, or gave them away, like, how would you feel?
Yeah, I'd be
like that, and that's your hard work,
I'd be pissed off.
But still, at that time, because most of us are fucking poor, it's like, and more importantly, if you knew what was right from wrong, maybe it took a little longer. It's like we're looking at all those different websites trying to get the latest jam because we couldn't afford CDs. Now we have an access model where for $8.
Or we didn't want to go to the store and drive 15 miles to go buy it.
Yeah.
We could just get it right there.
Or just in the situation for our location, it's like we didn't have record stores. You went to Walmart, and if you're lucky, it's there. And most of the time, it's either corridos or freaking country music.
Now everybody nowadays has like Spotify or Pandora,
Mm-hmm.
and they got some good playlists. Like I actually created one for the locals here. It's called RGV Stars,
Yeah.
and but that's badass. That you get to check out different music, whether it's it's someone that's made it big already or someone that's starting. Like you get a lot of variety on Spotify.
You mentioned torrents as well, and I think we had a conversation before starting this. Is like the legitimacy, or if that's a legal thing. There's nothing wrong with torrents. It's just a file sharing program or protocol, which could be more specific than that. But it's a great distribution model if you have the rights to what you're distributing. So you could put that CD or that compilation of those songs for people to download freely on a torrent, Danny.
Yeah.
And you'd be surprised, like, how you might grow a fan base. I mean, that's honestly how I found out about a group called Death Grips. They gave away 2 singles for free on a torrent pack, and I think it was through uTorrent. They gave it away for free, completely legitimate. And if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have ever tried to listen to their music. Now, if you're a fan of Death Grips, you get it. If you're not a fan of Death Grips, as you might check it out and you'll be like, what the fuck is this? Then it's cool. It didn't cost you anything. Thank God.
Yeah. I've always wanted to do that. Like, I've never released anything yet under my production, which I plan to do something instrumental, but I would want to distribute it for free just to get people's opinions, you know what I mean? See what they think.
Sure. I mean, you got so many. I consider it just another distribution model, just like SoundCloud.
Yeah.
Just with torrenting, you're just kind of putting it out there for the ether, and maybe some people will put tags on it. But versus in the SoundCloud, you put it in one locale, and then people could jump in there and chime in, like, "Oh, I like this part of the song," or "I hate this part of the song."
So what's y'all's opinion on video formats like MOV? We went from more like WMV, MOV, AVI, MP4, MKV. What's y'all's take on that?
The best format I think is MP4.
That's standard now, right, nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
I think the new thing is VP8, which is an open protocol, open source. But
The most common one right now is MKV, but I always have to convert it to MP4.
It's crazy though how like all these Blu-ray players that are coming out, they're able to play some of that. It's pretty cool. What's your opinion on SSD solid state drive SATA and solid state drive M.2? Have you messed with those?
David,
Your son has one now?
Yep, we put one in his PC that we built last year. Wait, was it this year? No, it was 2019.
you trying to forget 2020 already?
Yeah, I'm trying to skip that year. Well, I mean, there was some good stuff in that year, but
Talk more into the mic.
oh,
There you go.
But on the M2, it's been pretty good. It's fast.
Yeah.
Does it heat up real quick or no?
Dude, you saw the cooling system we put in there.
So it does help. So
This kid keeps that PC on almost 24 hours,
wow.
and it's still going.
That
Dude, it's just, it doesn't output that much heat, man.
that was my biggest fear, bro. Cause I'm always on the computer doing shit, and I gotta make sure that whatever I have doesn't overheat.
That's why you get backups.
Yeah, right now, like my biggest issue is that I got a solid state SATA, and then I have a regular SATA hard drive. So the regular one, I use it for storage, but when I'm trying to open projects with it, since the software is installed on the solid state,
It's
Some-
slower.
yeah. So, CD, like, what do you think? Should I buy a second SSD,
Yep.
or should I just buy a bigger SSD and just like if I can just buy a second one, I'd rather and just get away with like the performance is gonna be better, or do you think it glitches because it's two different drives?
I guess I need to really look at the system and how you have stuff formatted. Like, if you're doing video editing, most of the time, if you're smart and you have the finances for it, you'll have either a RAID system or an array where you have a read, a write, an archival, and a preview disk. So, and those will all be 4 different complete separate drives.
And those are all connected inside of the PC or external?
Inside,
Okay.
unless you can have it externally, but as long as it's got access to the motherboard in the sense of connectivity, you don't want it going through a port like a USB port or anything like that. You want it like tied into the motherboard.
Yeah.
I guess that would be internal.
Through SATA.
Just in my head, I'm thinking of an external housing.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, there's just no argument. If you can afford it and you've got the equipment that can handle M.2, it's the most, it's the fastest. And then you don't got to worry about moving parts like platters on a spinning hard drive disk.
Yeah.
But I mean, in reference towards a solid state drive, it's smaller in form factor too.
Okay. Photoshop, Lightroom, Premiere, After Effects. Let's start with Photoshop.
I've never messed with any of those. I know
You're
I
going
have
to,
them, but
you're gonna learn.
I've never touched them.
Well, I'll say I like Photoshop because you get to play with different layers, do do different stuff on each layer, and just the results are just endless. You can do so much on it. I like Lightroom because it kind of reminds you of like the new Instagram where you upload a picture, then you choose a preset, and then you get to configure on that preset some more. But Lightroom's more detailed. Premiere video editing, it's amazing. Like, it's similar to, I guess, Photoshop because you get to also mess with layers. The one that I want to learn is After Effects because you can do so much damage on that thing.
Yeah, that thing's cool. I like all those programs and use each one of them, significantly as a professional, except for Lightroom. I'm not a fan of Lightroom. Maybe if I sat down and spent more time with it to try and understand it, but for me personally, for photos that I take, I like to edit the actual pixels and not just run filters over the damn thing. Like, I do a complex set of RGB, like channel swapping and such, like stuff you can't do in Lightroom.
Like, you can sharpen the image.
I mean, you could do that in both Lightroom and Photoshop. But I'll take, like, for what I'm talking about is, I'll take one of my images, throw it into CMYK, steal the black channel, put it back into my RGB channel, and use that to darken neutrals. Or swap information from my green channel, put it in my red channel to pull out more details. And you'd have to see it
Yeah,
for
it's
me.
more.
It's pretty fucking advanced. But I only learned that from some pretty advanced books too.
All right, guys. Zune, Itouch. Y'all remember that?
I had both.
I could never afford either one of those, except for the phone. Yeah.
What's your opinion on those, David?
I really liked the iTouch until I dropped it and it cracked. And
It turned into the iCrack.
I never, yes.
I had both too, and Zune, I freaking hated that you had to always have the latest software,
Firmware. Yep.
Yes, because then it wasn't gonna work. But Itouch, I loved it, bro. I remember me and you went to our first concert. You took me, Bush. I was there recording with the Itouch. That was awesome. And then that's when the whole FaceTime started happening, where you could FaceTime people. I like that you could use notes. I'm a notes guy. Like, I write everything down, so I love the fact that I could do a note, and if I forgot my phone, I could easily just get on the Apple website, and my notes were on there, and I could add. That's one thing I love about the iPhone that I can't do on an Android. I do like the Samsung Notes, but you have more control with the notes on the Mac on an iPhone.
You can just integrate that into your Google stuff, and then you're good, man.
Yep.
You can. I need to check that out, bro. How to do that?
It's there's workarounds, and more importantly, a lot of that technology isn't just created by Apple. There's Google has its own variants, and sometimes better.
All right, CD. So, what's your favorite microphone brand? I could say I'll tell you mine first, and then maybe see what you. I grew up like learning production through the 8-track. So first mic I ever bought was actually this one right here.
Yeah.
It's an AKG Perception 100. I've had this for like over 10 years. So I did do a little production before actually getting into the software, but maybe not into detail, just the basics,
Yeah.
of recording. But ever since then, I've always loved just how this condenser has a, I guess, white diaphragm, and I don't know. From this one, I got the P220, and then I bought the P420. It's the one that David's using right now.
Mm-hmm.
But I've always been an AKG guy.
Yeah, man. The AKG is great. Also, like, depending on the price tag of that microphone that you have, like, I find the variants aren't as big as they used to be. Like, you could spend about $300 and $600 now and get a damn good microphone. My personal favorite brands, I'm a little bit biased because I work with these companies directly, as for like feedback and helping them with their product, is Lewitt microphones from Austria. And that's actually a group of individuals that left AKG to create their own brand. And essentially what they wanted to do was to create more modern microphones and reduce the noise floor and price point, And their marketing campaign right now is even better, is that they really, really support artists. And I love that about the company. And the reason I know about them is because my mentors, Eric Reichers and Bob Horn, the guys that I work with in California, they are endorsed by them, as well as they showed me these microphones and how to use them best. My own personal microphone collection also includes stuff from a company called Vanguard. And if you get the chance, man, like, buy one of their V4s. That's one of the coolest fucking large diaphragm mics you can buy.
Nice, bro.
For the price tag, it's just...
I'll look into that.
No, it's so worth it.
Favorite headphones? I'll go first. You guys are all wearing them. Audio Technica.
Yeah.
Yep, that's my favorite one.
Anybody else have anything to say on that? Because I've got a bunch of stuff to say.
David?
Well, I'm just kidding. This is the first time I have these headphones, so I don't know.
Okay.
Turn off that fucking phone, David.
Fine.
It's his Grindr account going off.
Chinga.
I think it's all my messages going to him
Oh.
from Grindr. But anyway.
Get a room, guys. Get a room.
I got a chance to work with a company that gave us several headphone sets to try with plug-in. The company is called Embody, amazing company. And so we were quality control testing their plug-in with several different headphones from different manufacturers. So I have access to, and should be getting my own set pretty soon, is a pair of Audi's headphones. And I think it's the LCD 10 or X, and those guys go for $1,300. Now,
Do they come with their own tubes?
yeah,
I've seen those headphones that are like,
they-
I'm like, if they got their own tubes, they're gonna sound great.
well, and if you study those electronics, like, you'd see why they sound a certain way, things that have tubes, but these don't have tubes. They're a very specialized set of magnets.
David had his tubes. Nah, I'm just joking. Those are other tubes.
And what you hear with these headphones, my buddies, they didn't like the way they sounded, but at the same time, they don't. These guys, they don't ever use headphones. They're always using expensive speakers. But why I'm saying these are some of my favorites is because I listen to classical music with these headphones, and I can hear the musicians in the pit, like the fabric of their clothes rubbing up against themselves. Like, it's pretty perverse what you can hear with these fucking
Wow.
$1,300 headphones.
Jesus.
And what's cool is that when you put them on and you're listening to music, they do something where they eliminate the binaural experience that you have. They kind of make you feel like you're in front of two speakers, if you can picture that. Like in a really good situation, you're in front of two speakers instead of having two separate, you know.
What I'm curious is, how do you know what fabric rubbing against each other sounds like?
Recording.
Man, he's got a good ear. You build that ear. You start.
Like I can hear your the rhythm of your heart, David. And when every time you look at Danny, it skips a beat.
No, it's crazy you mentioned that, David, because like I'm barely like 2 years into, well, I guess going on 3 years on production, and I remember when I was little, we go to those quinceañeras and they'd be playing the music super loud, and sometimes you'd be like, it can get annoying going to those events, and now that I'm older, I'm like, now I know why. It's because a lot of those frequencies were peaking when there was some live performances, and I don't know just how when we do a mix and mastering and production, how you have to balance the EQs. That also applies when it comes to performance, right? Obviously, because those guys obviously lack a sound guy, right, to be EQing the mixer, or no?
And you hear all that through a.
Because you're like when the start is, like the blah 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 blah,
It's all the low,
and it's like,
low
damn, my
frequencies.
fucking ear hurts. Like, lower that shit down, like it's not even them. It's like the way it was EQ'd, I guess. What's
Yeah.
that, lack of equipment or what? Lack of what?
You asking me or David?
No, I'm asking you, David.
What
I was like,
am I gonna
what
know?
do you know, David?
Just close
not to be mean. I'm just like, yeah, maybe he's got something that I don't know.
No.
Yeah, it's funny you say that, Danny, because that's why I always hated those pachangas, dude.
Yeah.
hearing the freaking vadios and shit like that. It's like it's always the same instruments, the fucked up out of tune horns. I'm not even gonna fucking do my impression right now, but like a lot of those low frequencies, that build up actually can get you nauseous. And funny enough, if you look into what happened in Cuba at their embassy, just was about a year to 2 years ago, they were trying to pinpoint why their entire staff, the American staff at the U.S. embassy in Cuba, was getting sick, and they traced it down to subsonic frequencies that were tuned to pulsate and get everybody nauseous, cause them migraines, and just ill health.
Wow.
So, yeah, you're not wrong. And
Wow.
it's pretty obnoxious when you go to those parties sometimes that the sound system ain't tuned up.
That's crazy. You could use sound as a weapon. That's scary.
Yeah, in the Geneva Convention, it's written there like any weapons utilizing sound is a weapon of mass destruction.
So you think that's some of the reason sometimes when you go out to drink some nights and you wake up, you're not hungover at all, but other days you wake up, you're fucked as shit. It's because of the music that they were playing the night before.
Yeah, like because those sound waves are pushing your body the entire time. Like the air around you is physically moving, pushing your organs and everything around you. Pressure on your head, everything. Even though it's not being physically punching you, you're in that environment.
What's your take on the Keurig coffee machine?
Pass.
You did it.
I don't know.
I like it. You make coffee fast, I guess.
Yeah.
Air fryers.
You tell us.
Yeah.
Well, I'm the king of air fryers, obviously. I've bought so many different models. My
Which one's the best
advice,
one?
my advice is don't get the ones that look like ovens because the heat starts from the top, so it doesn't evenly cook it. Get the ones that are round that you like push in the lid. that cooks it a little bit more evenly. You do have to like toss them a little bit, but it does. I guess the hot air is more compressed. I feel like the ones that are oven there's leaks, where like it takes longer to air fry.
Yeah, you gotta explain to me why that.
Well, what's the
The
best
whole,
brand?
well, not just that. It's like why the renaissance of air frying. It's convection cooking. That's what a fucking oven does. Like, why?
But it does
an
it a
air
lot
fryer?
faster, bro. Like
That's the thing. Is like sell me on this because
Okay.
I've had so many friends talk to me about this and they all own one. And they're like, oh yeah, it's great. It's healthier. Like,
it is healthier because watch,
It's like a compression of an oven.
it's like
It's
an
like-
oven,
I
but
get that. But then we're talking about convection, like pressure cooking. I get that.
yeah.
Let
I
me-
guess you're buying time. You're saving money because you're getting the quality that you're gonna go buy it somewhere like Wingstop or Buffalo Wild Wings. Like you get that at home. So instead of spending a nut, go get yourself a $10 pack of wings. Throw them in there. You don't even have to dip it in oil. Like maybe you could spray a little bit of Pam on it, but they come out amazing, bro. And they come out faster than you were to put them in an oven. Because if I were to put oil, put them in an oven,
Yeah.
bro, it'll take like 2 hours probably on an oven as compared to an air fryer.
Sure.
20 minutes, they're done.
So, in your experience, like you said, there's certain qualities to look out for. Now, the ones you'd say are good, are they the ones that
The round
seal?
ones.
Hold on. They seal, and do they add pressure to the cooking process? Or are they just cycling hot air through it?
I guess there's more pressure on that causes it to, like heat up faster.
Okay, because that makes more sense to me, and that's like why you have pressure cookers. That's what makes like KFC chicken
Yeah.
crispy in the way they do their whole
What's
process.
the difference between a pressure cooker and an air fryer?
The air fryer, like it actually fries it on a pressure cooker. Like I've seen some online and
Yeah.
it heats it up, but it kind of like it bakes faster than what you would wait an hour on an oven. You could probably do it like in 5 or 10 minutes on a pressure cooker,
Yeah.
but it's not gonna fry it. Like that's what I've seen from those. Okay.
You know what? I'm really not convinced. I think we need to go to the store and get some wings.
Yeah, we're gonna do that
and
after.
We'll
test
do that
this out.
afterwards.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. So, Intel or AMD?
Intel.
Yep.
No. Why? I've just always, after making a couple Hackintoshes and just building computers, I love Intel.
I understand why people choose Intel. I've always been very loyal to what I stick to, and sometimes that can be stupid, But
Yeah.
kind of like Nikon. Like Nikon, that's my first DSLR, and I know Sony's better.
For what?
I'm
I'm making an argument here.
Well, I guess because
Then
Like-
I'd argue, do you even know what you're doing?
like the Sony, like the ISO. I heard that you can do a lot more
Dude,
on
my,
those.
my Z7 kills their freaking AR4. Like in low light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How much ISO do you usually use, like in low light?
I can go all the way to 6,000 before I start to get a grain that's not visually appealing
On a Nikon?
on my Z7
Nice.
Wait, are we talking cameras or processors now?
camera.
No, oh yeah, we got off subject,
Yeah.
but well, that was just an example. But like,
Exactly.
no, but like,
With the
I guess I need to do a little more research on the camera side. But AMD, I liked it because growing up building computers, it was more affordable,
yeah.
and it wasn't always like there was always a battle with Intel and AMD. One was always making a faster processor, and I think right now the one that's winning is AMD released the Ryzens. Those are the ones that are at the moment that are like faster.
Mhm.
But Intel, Intel, the way that I hear is whenever you're processing something on AMD, it starts with one core, then it goes to the other one, then it goes to the other one. Intel doesn't. Intel uses all of them at the same time. which is what makes it faster. Am I wrong on that, or
No, you're right.
okay?
I think the instruction set also differs based off of which, you know, version or product that you have.
Like overclocking.
Yeah, like you can do it on both systems, on both processors, and that's kind of I've actually kind of geeked out on some of that stuff. Is seeing liquid nitrogen cooled computers where they're getting clock speeds of like 7 gigahertz, I think. And now we have conventional, well, I guess it's unconventional in some way, but we have cooling systems that can now do, you know, like liquid nitrogen cooled temperatures, I guess. I forget what they are called, but it's something that we've seen inside the cooking industry. They call them anti-grills. So you can actually put alcohol on the anti-grill and turn it into a sherbet. Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
Mm-mm.
I guess just think of it this way, as a cold plate, if you will. So we have liquid cooled systems.
Yeah.
Okay, now we have a cold plate system that you can put on your CPU to give it those low temperatures, or
Kind
to
of like a
cool it
heat
down.
sink or what?
You could call it that. I mean, I think it's a lot more sophisticated than that, but it's my own fault for not knowing the term. But just we have the ability to do liquid nitrogen cooled CPUs with this new plate, cold plate, or CPU cooling system. So think of it as the next step above a liquid cooling system. So we had fans. You can overclock to a certain period where that fan is capable of keeping, you know, the CPU still operational. Then you got liquid cooling. Then that took that bar up higher. Now we have these cold plates.
Heat sinks.
No. I think it's something
This
else.
is an actual thing where what it does is it dissipates the heat elsewhere, but it concentrates the cold. And I'm sorry, I just wish I really knew the term for it.
So I'm thinking, but that's the next level, right? Cause
And now we can buy them. They've made it
Yeah, 'cause-
commercially available, and we can now overclock our shit that much more. Because really, you had you ran out of space or headroom because of the heat,
yeah,
and now you've got the equivalent of liquid nitrogen cooled.
I haven't been up to date on the
CPUs.
cooling section, but my understanding it was like you said, the fan, but the fan came with the heat sink,
Mm-hmm.
and then the next level was the cooling.
Yeah,
But if you're saying that maybe there's another modern
there's not
heat sink,
It's not. It's not. How'd you say? A dream anymore. It's actually feasible and ascertainable now. Is you can buy this new type of cooling system that is. It's active in the sense that it's pulling heat and projecting cold onto the CPU now. So you can really overclock the CPU with this new heatsink.
yeah. All right, okay. So what's your favorite external hard drive brand?
Western Digital.
Western Digital. And I think that changes depending on the model.
I think I've gotten screwed over by Seagate and Western Digital, but right now, I would say I like Seagate. I like that it's got that new USB 3.0 hub. So I got a 8 terabyte, and you can connect it to your 3.0 port, and then it gives you 2 more USB ports if you want to connect anything on it. I also like the Toshiba. I like the transfer rate on it. But I guess right now Seagate for me. What's your favorite MIDI controller instrument, Cirilo? You don't have one?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I guess it just depends. Like, where's it? Where you get your little Akai? Pass
No,
that
this
thing.
one's
Pass the Akai for
this
me.
one's called the Artifon Instrument 1. For all your guitar players, this is what you want to get if you don't want to learn the piano. You're too lazy. It plays the chords. It's too digital still. I know there's a new one that came out. It's called a Jamstick Studio, I believe. That one's like seven. This one's 400. That one's $800. But that one is exactly like whatever you play on the guitar, it like instantly translates it. It's I guess whoever did it, they thought of that. These were out for a couple of years, so they perfected it already. I can't wait to get one of those. Um, so yours an Akai, you say?
Yeah, that one actually that you have by your.
This one?
Yeah.
The
I have the white version at home.
Akai MPK Mini.
Yeah. It's got everything that I need on there. But for touch, I have a Studio Logic Grand that has velocity sensitive keypads. It's pretty
Alright,
cool.
let's see here. Your thoughts on COVID and technology? Do you think technology has been used more ever since COVID came out?
Oh yeah,
In what way?
easily. Zoom. People don't have to go to work. They don't have to show up anymore.
Yeah.
It's saving on paying for gas. If they couldn't, get to work on time, now there's no excuse.
Yeah.
They can wake up and Winnie the Pooh it.
Okay, what's your take, Cirilo, on collaborating via email with artists, producers, videographers?
Man, I've been doing it since high school, so I don't care. Like, really, in the sense of any particular take, it's just another way of working.
Yeah, bro, that's my goal. Like, every artist that I'm working with, I want to better them and get them more into collabing with Daws and just emailing, producers and speeding up the process. Because I know some of us, we got lives, we got kids, so I'm just trying to help everybody learn that side more because it's a lot faster.
Yeah, I feel like there's an element of spontaneity, and depending on how good you are as a musician, you benefit more when you're in person with somebody. But then there's people that I will specifically say, don't come over here. I don't want to work. I don't want your presence around me. Send it to me via email. And it's not that I despise those people. It's just like I've taken the time to know that I work better when they're not in the room.
Yeah.
And but that's how I have to work with those certain people. But majority of the time, I love being in the room with the artist. If I can, have that kind of a relationship with them.
It's very important because, if you're barely meeting them, they have to see your point of view. They have to see you in person and get that vibe, see if there's a connection there, see if there's going to be work or not,
Sure. And another part about that is, I guess this is, again, for me specific, what I would elaborate is time being money. Sometimes these people that want to work with you, they're not as fast as you are, and they slow you down. So that's why you really don't want them in the room. It's not that they suck or they're not good. It's just it's better if you don't come because you're gonna slow down the process. For me, and I get to work with some really fucking fast people, and that inspires me. So when somebody's slow and can't come up with ideas, those people will weigh you down in a room.
Do you think sometimes those people feel like that about you?
Oh, dude, that's why I don't get those calls. And it's the truth. It's the truth. When you first start, as a guitar player, when I first went out there in LA, and I'm playing for all these different bands, and it takes a while especially if you're only specific in one genre, then it's well, why don't I keep getting these gigs? It's because I don't have the chops, or I don't have some ideas to share for those sort of events or opportunities. And as a professional, you'll always work on those things and have them ready for those situations. So it's like being a Boy Scout. But yeah, that's happened to me several times. And that's actually how I learned. Because when I went to college, all my friends were way better than me. like astronomically better than me, and that's the kind of motivation that I needed to get better at my craft. Because sticking around here in the valley, it's like everybody's like, "Oh, you're great, you're great," and it's like, yeah, for my ego, that's awesome, but for my professionalism and what I want to do as an artist, it's not good.
Yeah, that's it's everyone that you work with in the studio is different. So like you say, you got some that are fast and there's some that are slow, and especially like when you say you don't want them to slow you down. In my case, I kind of like whenever I'm doing the video shots, I kind of like recording them, asking them what they want, and then I like to be in my room and just I edit. I already have my speed, all that. I do it, and then I send them a sample, and then if they like it. If not, at least I know if I were to sit with them, the process would be slower, and it's not their fault. It's because I'm the one that already have experience on the editing, so I know what to do. I know as far as like how to cut and everything. If I were to let them sit next to me, it would take forever. So I'd rather just do like a rough draft, and then from there I'll be like, "What do you think of this transition?" And then they're like, "Oh, we'll replace this."
Yes.
So I get their intake at the end of the project, whether it's a song or a video. It's gonna be to their satisfaction as well. But I'm the one that's gonna start it first, take it from there.
And that actually, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to leave David out of this conversation. I actually wanted to bring you into it a bit more and ask your opinion, David. Is like, for somebody who's getting into a lot more of this creative stuff, how do you feel?
Oh, it's okay. I was taking a nice little nap right now. So.
No, I know. I'm trying
Wake
to
the
wake you
fuck up.
No, in all seriousness, because like it brings up a good point in the sense of collaboration. I think for me, being as far out and like away from this place as I am, like you're definitely one of my more favorite people that I met over here as of recent.
Thank you.
And seeing you get into the creative aspect, like you're showing up, you're doing your camera work and getting involved with stuff, like
One thing I'll say about David before you answer anything,
trash talk him.
I've known this guy for over 15 years already.
I just met
and
you. Yeah.
You just remember who was first, David.
He's a fucking brain, bro. Like he's got potential to learn any subject, and I know if I were to tell him, bro, like help me with this, he'd be down. But I show him all the stuff that I do because I want one day for him to say, you know what, bro, like I like that. I want to learn that because when this fucker learns something, he'll fucking learn it, bro. Like we've gone through so many projects, excluding the music, but in technology, that he always breaks his head and he goes all out on what he's gonna do.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
you asking him this, like I know it's still new to him,
Sure.
but I know like he's buying lenses and the camera and the lighting and all that. And it goes back to you, David. Like, what has been your favorite experience so far they've done in the music with me?
All of it. I can't say that because it's always a learning experience every time we go out there. It's always fun. We always make it fun. There's never been a time where I'm just like, oh, this shit sucks and I don't want to be here. We always go out there and we always have a good time every time.
Yeah.
It's never a dull moment.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, David. That's kind of why, like, I feel it segued in the conversation we were having regarding collaborating via email, and how like some people work faster with other people out. It's like you're coming into this now, and you're learning stuff along the way, and you're the kind of person that it's a pleasure to have you with us. You don't weigh us down at all. You add constructive criticism, feedback, and jokes while we're doing this.
Always.
And yeah.
He brings a humor and he's not biased.
I heard he was bi.
He's not like hardcore into like the music like we are. He's the one that gets to see the outside point of view, and sometimes like I'll ask him for some advice. Quez Black Will, Amari, like, and like we get that opinion from him because he gets to be outside the circle looking at everything that we're doing. So it's appreciated, you know, his humor, his presence, the times that he's helped me on, you know, doing the live gigs, you know, with the artists and the projects. I appreciate all that.
Yeah, because I personally love listening to music. So being around this kind of stuff, listening to people, live music, all that, it's always amazing. And being a part of it, recording it, it's like shit, you know, I did that.
Yeah, yeah, man. And that's kind of the funny part is like I see your approach to it is like you're like just a new person to this versus those of us that have been doing this for so long. It's not a bad thing. It's just the way your approach is to it, and it's fun. That's the attitude that you need to have, is to constantly have that wonderment and want to engage. And I think that's kind of what also makes for fun on these conversations. What we're talking about is just having these head points. It's like all our opinions are a little different on it.
Yeah, I mean, if you can't have fun, what's the point?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go out there and do something I don't like doing.
And that's the most
You
important
still
thing.
have
Like,
a regular job.
Oh yeah.
that's the most important thing, bro. Like having fun with it. But I know it's gonna get to a time where like it has to be more serious. But
Yeah.
regardless on you, like it, as long as it's always fun for you, bro. Like it's all good, you know. Like I appreciate you helping me with everybody.
No, I'm not doing. I'm just taking up space.
You're the professional, bro. Like you're in California, bro. Like I understand,
And
you
it's
know
just
that.
a matter of time before the valley has its shit together. I can see it, dude. Like I never thought I would see this, man. I never fucking thought I would see this. I'm
Yeah.
not fucking lying to you. Like I've always had a vision and an entrepreneurship, like mindset or a mindset for entrepreneurship. And until I've seen the organization of what's going on down here, all these opportunities, this is gonna turn into something. It's no fucking joke. There's a reason Netflix is starting to film, or people are choosing to film out here a lot more.
Yeah, bro. That'd be
'Cause it's
awesome to
cheap.
pitch something to
Yeah,
Netflix
but
later.
I mean, not just because it's cheap, but like you have a public that wants to engage as well.
All right, so this one's gonna be a quick subject. Garmin versus Google Maps versus iPhone. I'll go first. I know you guys probably don't have much to say on it, but Garmin, it's. I guess you have to be updating it constantly because sometimes I'll put something and it'll take me somewhere else, and then I get kidnapped. Google, I like the fact that it's on the phone, it's live, so it's always like if there's a car accident, like it tells you. So, and then there's the iPhone. What I like about the iPhone, how it has this little dot, like, and as you're driving, like it's real accurate, you know. But since I'm on the Android now, like I really appreciate the Google Maps. What about y'all guys?
Man,
Google Maps.
yeah, I don't even know what to say. I don't drive much.
Yeah.
I take Ubers all day, every day in LA, and I just sleep in the back of the car.
Bang bus.
Yeah, basically.
I left the strongest subject and towards the end. Mac versus Windows.
Windows.
Man, it's just like, why is that conversation? But it's still a conversation. Like, I'm always gonna be Windows, and I think I'm biased because, in particular, I grew up with it and I just learned the way that whole structure is. I know how to edit registry and shit like that,
Yeah.
and out of necessity, I learned that. So I feel maybe after a while I could do the same thing for Mac operating system, but I don't know. There's
They
just
purposely restrict it,
Yeah.
yeah.
and I don't like that shit.
And what's badass is that YouTube, like, that's the thing, like, with Windows, like, we grew up, like you said, like, breaking our heads, learning everything about it, from getting codecs for video, different file formats, different software that we need to use for all these different files, you know, different programs. And with Mac, it's always like you have to do everything through them, so
Yeah.
you don't have that much control.
And at the same time, though, like, I mean, I love all my friends that use Mac devices, but still, at the end of the day, they're not coders. They're not people that are very tech savvy. They'll call me to fix their broken Mac. I've done it plenty of times, but they're not the kind of people that want to know why something works the way it does or make customizations to it. They're just like, oh, it works, and
It's for the normal user, consumer, I guess.
yeah, and that makes perfect sense for those people. But for them to sit around and parade, oh, Macs don't get viruses and all this bullshit, just the reason that doesn't make it like why there's some truth to that is because there was never anything worth stealing on a Mac. Ever. You had banking systems, POS systems that were based off of Windows systems. You hack a Windows systems, you have access to banking computers. You can fudge numbers and inflate your ATM or your account. The day the banking system starts picking up Macs or using Macs as terminals, then we'll see more viruses for that shit, for damn sure. Oh, and then of course, let's also think about all the celebrities that had all their fucking, all their nudes exploited out there. It's like, oh, Mac devices never get, hacked or viruses, and then sure enough,
Surprise, motherfucker.
Yeah, you're looking at, what was the name of that girl from the Hunger Games? Like, oh my god.
Oh.
Or just all these celebrities, like all their intimate moments. It's like,
Jennifer Lawrence.
thank you. And they, again, for all those celebrities that paraded, Macs never get viruses or get hacked, and then you're seeing them doing some pretty compromising stuff in their leaked videos.
One thing I also like about Windows is that there's just so many programs for everything.
Yeah.
Like Mac's still building that library, but Windows is like. Give you an example, like VSTs. There's a lot of free ones out there. DSK, I don't know if you heard of them.
SDK.
SDK?
Yeah.
Okay, and I like the
Or
fact.
no, you're
It's
right.
DSK.
SDK is a video game thing.
Yeah.
DSK from,
Yeah, they got some free VSTs. And then it's like, some of these, there's even older VSTs that are 32-bit. And if you're using like a DAW that's a 64-bit, you're like, fuck, how do I convert them so I could use them on my DAW? So there's this software called JBridger. I
Yep.
bought it. It was like $30,
Mm-hmm.
and it automatically creates like a shortcut. I guess like a bridge.
It's a shell.
Yeah, where it allows you to use 32-bit
Yeah.
VSTs on a 64, and it's like, what kind of where can I find that on a Mac? You know what I mean? There's just detailed programs for specific things, and on the Mac, like, eventually I know they'll come around, but at the moment, like, I guess it makes us a little biased because we're like the techs. We get to use the hell out of an operating system, so we're not your daily users, so it's an advantage that we appreciate Windows more.
Yeah.
I've been able to mod a lot of things with Windows, like a vast amount of things. Gaming
Same.
systems, PCs, putting emulators on that thing,
Yep.
everything. I mean, if you do it on a Mac, you have to have a specific version, and there's no guarantee that you're going to be able to find it.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Any final thoughts?
Not in particular, man. That was just a smorgasbord of bullet points you brought in. So
We'll have a volume 2 when Cirilo comes back.
never.
But man,
Maybe
this is
we
the
can-
longest.
maybe
This is the
we
longest
could do-
podcast, bro.
I
It's
s- I
an
say
hour and
we-
15 minutes.
We're gonna probably have to do it remotely, because I don't know the immediate next time I'll be coming back.
Yeah,
Via satellite.
Yeah,
we'll be in our boxers next time, guys.
sounds good.
Well,
Ma-
thank you for listening, guys. This is my 4th episode. Got another one coming tomorrow. It'll be a surprise. And thank you, Cirilo. Thank you, David, for coming by. We're gonna go get some wings right now, air fry them.
Yeah, you're gonna have to convince me of that, Danny.
Yeah. But yeah, guys, thank you for everything. Stay motivated, keep doing your thing. And music, peace, and love.